Every great fantasy world operates on a core principle. For some, it's the magic system, for others, it's the god. But for me, my obsession has always been with danger. Not just monsters in a forest, but the kind of deep systemic danger that makes a world get under your skin. Where a political misstep in a safe city gets you killed just as surely as a wrong turn in a haunted swamp. That is the fire behind my world, Arlitera. It's a place built on the principle that in a world this dark, survival itself is a victory. And hope is often the rarest treasure of all. It's a world that, quite literally, wants you dead. Now you might ask yourself, why would I want to build a world that's so relentlessly hostile? Well, it's for a simple reason, because I believe that hope isn't just a feeling you have, it's a choice you make. And love isn't just something that happens to you, it's a thing you fight to protect when everything else is gone. In a world that is safe and comfortable, these things can feel cheap. But in a world designed to break you, a single act of sacrifice, a moment of genuine trust, that shines like a beacon. And that's the feeling I wanted to build Arlitera around. I wanted to build a world where the darkness is so constant that when a character chooses to show love or trust someone or make a sacrifice, then the reader actually feels the weight of that choice. This is the fire I see in the stories that stick with me. In a world like Game of Thrones, the constant political betrayal is what makes a single act of loyalty feel earth-shattering. In a world like The Witcher, the constant threat of monsters is what makes a simple act of kindness feel like a miracle. It's a contrast that gives these moments their power. But to create that feeling on the scale I was looking for, you cannot just have your political danger over here and your monster danger over there. That's the usual way many fantasy writers go, as I did in the past. We basically keep the two types of dangers in separate sandboxes. The court intrigue happens in the capital and the monster hunting happens in the spooky forest, while the two stories never truly intersect. A world like that can feel big, but it won't feel deep on the level that I needed it to be. The darkness doesn't feel relentless enough for the light to truly matter. So Arlitera was born the moment I asked, what if the two sandboxes were actually the same box? What if they were designed to feed each other by creating a constant escalating cycle of danger? That's what brought me to the idea of the danger loop. It's an invisible engine that, once you build it, makes your world feel alive and cohesive. And to show you how that engine works, we need to start where the rot so often begins, in the heart of the kingdom, the capital itself. In Arlitera, that heart is the human kingdom of Limera, with its capital New Haven. From the outside, it's everything a great city should be. You see the Citadel of Dawn rising high as a symbol of unity and strength. You see bustling markets, grand temples, and the sprawling estates of the noble houses. It looks like a beacon of civilization. But the moment you step inside its walls, you'll feel it. The air is thick with something other than the smoke from forges, paranoia. This is where we find the first kind of danger, the political rot. Because the court of King Aramis is no longer a place of justice, it's a web of secrets. The king himself, once a respected ruler, has fallen under the influence of a cunning and power-hungry advisor named Lord Carrack. Now, every decision is filtered through the lens of fear. Nobles don't speak openly anymore, they trade whispers in shadowed gardens, they watch and spy on each other, looking for any sign of weakness they can exploit. The king's guard, once tasked with protecting the innocent, now serves to crush dissent. This is pure human danger. It's a city where every conversation is a calculation and every friendship is a potential liability. Just as important though, this is a kingdom obsessed with the enemies within its own walls, which leads it to forget to watch its borders. You see, the decisions made in these gilded paranoid halls have consequences, and those consequences are about to spill out into the wild. This is where the two dangers connect. Because King Aramis and his court are so consumed with their internal power struggles, the kingdom's frontiers are falling apart. The watchtowers along the northern border stand empty and the patrols that once kept the trade routes safe have stopped. The government is looking inward, and in doing so it has left its borders undefended, creating a power vacuum. And in that vacuum, something has noticed. Deep in the Whispering Peaks live the Shakara. They are terrifyingly intelligent apex predators. Imagine a creature with the body of a great wolf, but covered in a dark leathery skin, with massive bat-like wings that allow it to fly in near total silence. For decades, the kingdom's vigilance kept them confined to the highest, most inaccessible mountains. They were the stuff of nightmares, but distant ones, except for those stupid enough to wander alone into the depths of the Emerald Forest. Now, with the patrols gone though, the Shakara have grown bold and started to descend from the peaks. They are no longer just a legend whispered around a campfire, they are a physical, deadly threat. They hunt along the main trade roads, snatching livestock from farmsteads and sometimes even the farmers themselves. Suddenly, the political corruption in New Haven has a direct bloody consequence for the common folk 1,000 miles away. The human monsters in the court have unleashed the literal ones in the wild, showing the danger engine at work. This is how the world starts to feel like it's actively trying to kill you. But the story doesn't end there either, because a new monster on the board always changes the game for the other players. You see, this new Shakara problem doesn't go unnoticed either. News of their attacks travel fast, carried by terrified refugees and the few merchants brave enough to still travel the northern roads. And that news reaches the mountain fortress of Ironhold, home of the Atakas. They are a race of warriors with skin like polished obsidian and eyes that burn with a yellow light, their heads crowned with horns that tell the story of their lineage. You won't find any schemers or politicians here. The Atakas live by a simple code: strength respects strength. And for generations they have maintained an uneasy peace with the kingdom of Limera, respecting its power even if they didn't trust its leaders. But now, they hear stories about a kingdom that cannot even protect its own people from beasts. They see that Limera's borders are weak, its patrols gone. They see a king so obsessed with the enemies inside his own palace that he has forgotten the real dangers outside his walls. And to the Atakas, this is not just a tragedy, but a profound sign of weakness. It is an insult to the very idea of what it means to rule. Because the Atakas don't fear the Shakara, their warriors are more than a match for them. But what they see is a vacuum of power, and this emboldens them. The warlords in Ironhold have started to look at Limera differently. It is no longer a powerful, dangerous neighbor to be respected. It's a decaying prey, a fractured kingdom ripe for the taking. And because of that, many of their ambitious young warriors see a chance for glory, while clan leaders see an opportunity to reclaim lands they believe are rightfully theirs. And just like that, the monster problem on the frontier has now created an entirely new and arguably much greater political crisis. Limera's failure to deal with the Shakara has put them on a collision course with the Atakas, showing the danger loop in full action. It's a cycle of human failure creating monstrous consequences, which in turn creates new political failures. But as deadly as the world has become already, the dangers in Arlitera aren't just created by the mistakes of mortals. Some dangers are older than the kingdoms themselves, woven into the very fabric of the world. And those dangers, they don't care about the petty squabbles of human kings. Now, to understand this, we have to leave the roads and politics behind us and step into the Emerald Forest. When you come here, you enter a place that remembers. It's an ancient, and some would say sentient wilderness. At its deepest heart, where few ever arrive and even fewer leave again, you'll find the Whispering Willows. Colossal, thinking tree-like beings, some of them so old they have watched mountains rise. They communicate with each other and with the forest itself through a silent telepathic network known as the Green Whisper. To them, a human kingdom is a brief, noisy season that will eventually pass. Now, what they and the Emerald Forest as a whole represent is a completely different kind of danger. Not the malice of a politician or the hunger of a beast, it's a danger of utter indifference. The forest doesn't want to kill you, but it won't hesitate either if you threaten its balance. If you try to chop down one of its ancient growths, the forest might not send a monster, although sometimes it does. But it might also simply change. The path you followed in will vanish, keeping you trapped. Or the stream you drank from will turn to poison without you noticing, leaving you suffering in a way that makes you wish for a quick death. Here, in the Emerald Forest, you won't be killed by a creature, you'll be erased by an entire ecosystem. This is the third and perhaps most terrifying kind of danger in Arlitera. The danger of a world that was here long before you, and will be here long after you are gone. Well, this is the foundation of my world. It's a pressure cooker. It's a world designed to push people to their absolute limits. Which brings me back to where we started all this. Why build a world like that? Because a world designed to break you is the perfect canvas to show what it truly means to not be broken. It's the proof that hope isn't the absence of darkness, but the choice to light a candle in spite of it. A simple act of trust, a moment of real sacrifice. In a world like this, those things don't just feel nice. They feel like a miracle, they have weight. And from a storytelling perspective, that is why a world built on this engine is such a powerful tool for us as writers. It does the heavy lifting for you, because you no longer need to invent reasons for your story to have high stakes. The world itself is the source of such pressure. In Arlitera, a love story is more than a romantic subplot. It's an act of defiance against a world that says connection is a liability. A character's decision to be honorable is a dangerous, potentially fatal choice when surrounded by political corruption and literal monsters. The world itself becomes the antagonist here, the one that forces your characters to prove what they truly believe in. Now, having said that, with all this, we have only just scratched the surface though. Over the coming weeks, I want to share more of this world with you, piece by piece. But this won't be a simple lore tour. With every new culture, creature, and corner of the map we uncover, I'm going to break down the specific world building techniques behind them to make sure that you have the tools you can use to forge these same layers of danger and depth into your own stories. But of course, a world, no matter how dangerous or epic, is just an empty stage without a story. While it is a pressure cooker, you still need the character and the plot that are about to be tested by it. So how do you actually forge a character in that fire? Well, for that, watch this video here next, where I show you my exact step-by-step process to build an entire story outline from scratch, focusing on the one thing that makes a story unforgettable: the character's emotional journey. If you've ever had a world but struggled to find the plot, don't skip this video. It might just change how you outline forever.